Today's Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday. I just made a couple of trades. Uh, the first two were a loss, and the third, I was able to catch a breakout. So now I'm. It is. It is a. It is a delicate dance of uncertainty. I guess that's what life really is. It's a delicate dance of uncertainty. And uh, and God has given me this time to to essentially explore myself, because when I am fully divested in doing something, my mind is unable to multi-process and get things done, which has been true all my life. I am thankful God has. See, it's amazing. I consider myself one of the animals that Noah put on his ship. And then the flood came, and then my lineage came through and carried me to this point. Because what I do, what I say, is truly, in most cases, inhumane. Because I just prefer to talk like Mr. Friday in those cop dramas. Mr. Friday, he's a fact-based individual and nothing more. Nothing but the facts, ma'am. Nothing but. I'm deeply, deeply, deeply grateful to God. I truly am. And one day I pray that I will be successful as a day trader. And then I will be rewarded with the fruits of my labor. Many, 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 many years of labor. Hard labor. I guess prisoners in Russia, they put them in somewhere. Where do they put them? So in America, there used to be Alcatraz, but in Siberia, it's called Siberia. They put hardened criminals in Siberia breaking ice or something like that. In Boise, they do a little bit different. They put you in a cubicle and then make you do hard work, hard labor. So that's where I am. But what I've noticed is that trading, there's a bit of uncertainty. There's like there's an uncertainty. It's like uncertainty. It's like a it's it's like it's an uncertainty. It's an unknowable to 100% to a degree of what could happen. So there's always a need to to be aware of what if possibilities in day trading. It's called the um, it's a delicate dance of uncertainty. That's life, really, essentially. Trading reminds me of that. So whenever I get into a car, I need to be aware that there are certain things that occur on the road. Okay. And so these are things that are unanticipated. And trading is exactly the same way. And when I see something that looks like it and I get out, and then it turns out it flips over and goes in the direction that I have, because I hadn't anticipated that there would be a drawdown to that degree. And I have to exit because it is essentially telling me, okay, I need to exit this trade because it has gone against my safety comfort, the comfort of my trade. I should have anticipated this before so that I can encompass it, put it under the umbrella of risk management in it. But that's called uncertainty. So in trading, essentially, there is a constant, there is a constant uh, underlying element called uncertainty. There is a definitive uncertainty that that is played out in each trade, and if I lose it emotionally, it could cascade and turn into a chaotic situation. It's like the good boss who's at the local restaurant who bought some Domino's pizza and laid it on the table, and me frequenting frequenting buffets a lot. I can choke down a lot of food, and I amazed the boss there. I says, "Oh, how many?" And then that's how it works, right? These days, I'm a little bit chubbier because of it. Um, and I do have I do have, when I see other YouTube videos, I would love those people to get to the point. Okay. I would love it. I want them to go from point A to point B and explain it, and then it'll be done with. Uh, so, what I've noticed about this uncertainty is this. Now I'm more relaxed. My trading buddy told me that I'm a little bit more relaxed now, even though I'm losing money left and right, but I know why. I know why I'm losing it because there is that uncertainty that I have not anticipated or fully thought out when I made that trade. Just like this trade that I made on EU. And if I look back on the EU right here, I made this trade. I can already see it. So I got in, I top ticked it, it dropped, and at the right point where I close it out, it dropped just a little bit more and then started to rocket in the direction that I wanted it to go. But a few months later, it hit its top where I could have taken profit and then dropped all the way down here. That is the uncertainty. And then here's another one, which was concerning because the risk was high for this. Essentially, UJ has a high degree of leverage, and so when I put in one lot is huge. I mean, just a little move would be like 1%, 2%. It can be easily be done that way. Even with a half a lot, it's huge the way that it moves. So until it finishes and becomes a hindsight, there is that bit of uncertainty. Even if it goes up to a certain point, it creates a uh, it creates a uncertainty candle essentially with a very small body where there's a wick on each side. It's indeterminate at that point where it wants to go until another candle is painted to continue to place it into continuation. So trading from my perspective, which I haven't seen in the past, uh, and there's this thing called probability. And probability means that there is inherently something called uncertainty. That uncertainty uh, is is essentially sewn into the fabric of trade, and and if I do not account for it, then that could jar me from on top of that being of stability that I have with my psychology. And when that psychology is nudged off, I roll down the hill, start making ludicrous trades, seeing things that really isn't there, and then ultimately weeks of work. Sometimes with the previous funded account, it was like a 1.5 months of work is down the drain. That's what happens. So there is that 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 uncertainty. There is a delicate dance of uncertainty, like that candle that's jumping up and down. There's this dance between going in the direction that I have anticipated, and it going into the other direction where I hopefully have thought about as being in the overall envelope of the risk that I had anticipated. And so just today I realized that in order for me to truly make this trade as riskless as possible, I need to consider both the ups and downs of the trade. And this reminds me of this Chat with Traders podcast with this guy who came on, and apparently this was a psychiatrist who was in hostage negotiations, and this military personnel came over, brought him in on site to negotiate release of the hostages, And this military person said to this psychiatrist, look, everything has been accounted for. Uh, your job is to negotiate for hostages, but I just want you to know that whatever happens, everything has been accounted for. So in order for me to corral and understand something, it is to it is to encompass and encase a trade such that the delicate dance of uncertainty can be wrapped up in a known situation to allow the safety of essentially living in an apartment, relying mostly on the winnings of the trading, and rely less on uh, the certainty of working for somebody to make a wage to support the daily life. So in order to do that, then I have to tell myself, look, your job is to negotiate the trade. Your job is to negotiate the trade. It's essentially like a hostage kind of a situation, negotiation kind of a situation. And there's two people that's working now that I'm seeing this. There's two people in the trade. One of them is this military strategist who has fully comprehended the overall outcome of whatever happens. Two things will happen: loss or gain. There's two things that will happen: loss or gain. And that has been fully vetted. And whatever happens, it will be within the scope of control, absolute control. And the other person needs to negotiate the trade into and steer it into the right direction within the confines of that complete control. So that is the duality of understanding the delicate dance with uncertainty. Yeah.